Hey, welcome to our channel, and I just got back, literally just got back from Avengers Infinity War. Um, it was all in Polish. I'm in Poland, um, so don't expect any quotes or anything like that. But dude, I don't know how to feel about this movie. On one side, from a technical point of view, I love this movie. On a story, okay, I know, I'm aware. I read the Infinity War. I read the Infinity War when I was young, when I was a kid. I think it was in something that we in Poland called Mega Marvel. Don't quote me on that. I have no idea. Anyway, uh, that movie, man. Okay, here is my advice for any of you who wish to go this movie. Do not take any young children, any children, to see this movie. This is not. If there's any Marvel movie that, besides Logan, that I would tell you not to go and see with younger audience, it's definitely this one. It's definitely this one, and believe me, for a very good reason. If you expect this movie to pull any punches, you will be severely disappointed. It doesn't care for pulling any punches, and you will be punished for expecting that. Boy, you will be punished. So I'm gonna talk spoilers in a separate video, but right now I'm gonna focus on a technical aspect. What I thought about the villain, the music, the overall tones of this uh, movie. So let's get to it. First, the music. There is especially one uh, track, one score. I believe it's Thanos' theme, but I cannot be certain. It's basically just a few notes, just repeated slowly over and over, and just raising and uh, falling down notes. And initially, I thought it will be like a typical villain, like sneaking in the shadows kind of theme, that it symbolizes that Thanos is present. But the more the movie progressed, I realized that this movie is far closer to the original in the comic book, meaning he's bombastic. He doesn't care if what kind of impression a person have of him. Uh, and this tune symbolizes not Thanos, but more his character, if it makes any sense. Okay, his personality. Character as in personality. Uh, which leads in. Long story short, the music fits greatly with the movie. Now let's get to the actual villain, Thanos. Without going into spoiler territory, I'm gonna say this. Thanos is right next to the Killmonger, if not in some regards surpassing him in terms of movie villain. I'm so very pleased to report that my impression of him in Infinity War trailer, my theory that they're gonna expand his character, that he will not just be black and white kind of character. I am happy to report that I was right. Thanos is presented here in uh, unusual light. He is presented here as a villain, as a father, and as a person who does what he does with absolutely no joy with it. He takes no pleasure in terms of uh, fulfilling his plan for the Infinity Gems or stones, whatever they're called in the movie. Um, this is not. Uh, this is not something that he takes pride in. This is not something that he feels he should be proud of. This, what he's doing, this crusade of his, it costs him. And he feel that cost, and you can feel the cost along with him. And that's a good thing. A villain should be identifiable. You should follow those villains. You should understand them. You should know where they're going from. Now, let's talk about the theme, the tones of this movie. This movie talks about necessity over morality. In that regard, it's very similar to the Civil War. The Civil War, the Civil War moved the necessity of security over personal freedoms. This is pretty much the inevitable versus one's morality against one's humanity, from the lack of a better word. Even though most of those characters aren't human, or at least not purely human. The biggest thing, the biggest tone about this movie is the most powerful tone of this movie that plays throughout it is probably despair. It's hopelessness. The fact that something is coming and that thing is inevitable. And basically, all the characters, including Thanos, are facing that. Thanos is racing against inevitability that he feels an entire universe is facing, versus the Avengers, who see Thanos as that inevitability. He sees death approaching everyone, and the Avengers sees him as death approaching them. So basically, it's one against nature and everyone against one. And in some respects, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I agree with Thanos. His reason for wanting to save or destroy everything is a legit good reason. The means that he does it, not so much. I don't know what else to say. this movie is good. It's really, really good, and I highly recommend that everybody who is the Avengers fan, the overall Marvel movies fan, you go see it. But make sure, do not allow any children to see this movie because they will be crying. As I said, there is a torture scene. There are deaths. There are so many deaths. And you really don't want to expose them to that. So take it for what it's worth. And I'll see you guys in the spoiler. See ya.